Freaky Friday is intended for adults and is a show featuring adult conversations. Topics may vary, but are focused on human sexuality, fetish, and topics of intimate nature. Some may feel uncomfortable watching this show, and some topics may take you out of your comfort zone. We encourage everyone to stay and learn, as we hope this is an educational show, but stress that viewer discretion is advised. And if a topic makes you feel uncomfortable, please do not continue watching. Welcome to Freaky Friday. Welcome to Freaky Friday, where we dare to talk about taboo topics like fetish, bondage, sex, vibrators, and more. This isn't your dad's Friday night programming, but your mom loves it. Welcome to Freaky Friday, hosted by Mr. Anderson, who is the unboxable, uncanny advocating creator known as the Indie Comics Devil, who will tempt you with his devilish tales of fetish, monsters, and more. Also the giver of free hugs and speds. Everyone watching this program will get virtual free hugs and speds. It's time to get on with the show. Welcome to Freaky Friday. Music provided by the YouTube Audio Library. Produced by Silent Partner. Song name, Tied Up. Warning and disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this live feed are those of the guests, speakers, and or hosts, and do not necessarily reflect the beliefs, official policies, ethics, or positions of the content providers, advertisers, additional hosts, and or guests, hosting sites, groups, or entities attached to this programming. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody. I actually decided to have a conversation out in the open in the light of day. We're going to be talking about relationships today. We're going to be talking about the struggles that they can be. And before we get started, whether it's a BDSM relationship, a swinger relationship, a poly relationship, a monogamous relationship, the one thing that's honestly true is that we're not honest enough as a culture. As a matter of fact, America, I said it this weekend when I was at MegaCon, this past weekend, I should say, we're sexually immature here in America. We have trouble struggling with telling people what we want. We struggle with the idea of even being honest about the things that we want in our relationships and even who we want to be in relationships with at times. We struggle with a lot of that. And some of that comes down to preconceived notions. And I don't want to spend a lot of time on the program talking about this, but I will say this: society wants you to be a certain way. It's up to you to decide if you want to be that way or not. You have to choose what works for you. I'm going to give you some ideas of some relationships. This is not going to be a perfect conversation. This isn't going to be the conversation that gives you every ounce of information you need, but it's a starting point. And maybe it gives you something to think about. Beautiful summer day here in Florida. I'm having this conversation with you guys, so let's try to be mature about it, ask mature questions. And if this isn't a topic for you, don't involve yourself telling people how to live. Please don't be that person. All right, so here we go. Monogamy. Monogamy is the number one relationship type in America. This is brought on by the fact that it works best for people. It's got the least amount of jealousy, supposedly. It's what helps families, supposedly. And you could have back and forth debates, but it is the most predominant relationship. Monogamy requires you to be with one person and one person only the rest of your life. I love pizza, but I don't want pizza every night for dinner, do I? It lacks variety. Now, I'm not going to say any relationship type here is good or bad. I'm going to give you the good and the bad. So here, the good thing in this is you are just dealing with one person. And if you can learn to be honest with that person, then you can enjoy the rewards of that. Now, honesty is one of the things that people struggle with the most. This is going to be a reoccurring theme, and you guys can see me swinging. I'm just getting rid of some little bugs because we're outdoors filming this. All right, so then you have an open relationship. So what's an open relationship? Well, when you were younger, if you're like me, you had to ask someone to be your girlfriend, or you had to establish a relationship. Outside of that, people perceive that you're in an open relationship. But here's the truth. If you're going to be dating other people, you should be able to tell someone that. So many people are afraid to talk about what they're really doing. And it's dishonesty, and it causes friction. You wind up lying to people. I know a lot of people who I won't tell anyone what I'm doing unless we're in a serious relationship. Let me tell you the truth. And this is just my opinion, so do with what you want. I think that anytime that you're starting any type of relationship with a person that has any implements of romance, intimacy, sexuality, you should be very open. You should let them know that you might be seeing other people too. And that the simplest thing is to say, yeah, no, I'm just dating. And everyone should understand that dating means that you're dating around. If you're going to start taking something more seriously, you should be open to telling someone that you're doing that. Now, I would suggest that if you have any relationship type beyond monogamy, or even if you're monogamous, that you should be honest up front and say, this is the relationship type that I want and I need. Now, in the BDSM culture, of course, you guys have heard me talk about with the BDSM survey, how much goes into the conversations that we have with our potential partners. And there are different subset relationships. Like I can have a submissive, I can have a slave, and neither one of them could be something that I'm not something, but someone, I should say. I meant something is the relationship. Not like that relationship is not something that is sexual, and I'm not sexual with them. That is the aspect of that relationship. That's the dynamic of that relationship. And those are predetermined outcomes or decisions or negotiated, agreed upon terms, if you would. And all that's conversation. But I could also have a submissive and I could have a slave and I could be sexual with both of them. But then that's my responsibility to let my other partners know that I'm sexually active with other partners as well, and that there are other people within my life. Now, again, there are people who might feel differently. People have different rules. And that's the hardest thing about relationships, right? Everyone's got their own set of rules. There's not like a written, we don't have the 10 commandments of relationships. And that's good and bad because not all the commandments would fit everybody, but it definitely can lead to misunderstandings. That's why open vocal communication and discussion is very important. And now you could be a swinger. What's a swinger? A swinger is a person who likes multiple partners. They're not discriminate in any way, shape, or form, but that doesn't mean they have open consent. In other words, they will sleep with anyone they want to sleep with. They will not just sleep with anyone. So consent is still a thing. Throughout all this, consent is so important, whether it be monogamy, whether it be a swinger relationship, whether it be an open relationship. And then there's polyamory. Polyamory is the idea that you can have more than one partner at a time, kind of going back to the BDSM thing with sub-slave. And there are different types of polyamory, actually. There are ones that are based upon a hierarchy, meaning that there are levels of the relationship. There are polyamory relationships that go basically, I'm just in a polyamory relationship, but I'm dating a bunch of people, and not everyone knows everyone I'm dating, but I'm honest about the fact that I am dating other people, and I will mention them to them. And then there are subsets within that. There are relationships where people share partners. There are not. Here's the ultimate thing. Well, and I did some research again, and I've always kept up on the research, but I watch other people's videos. Here it is. Whether it be monogamy, whether it be an open relationship, whether it be you just dating, whether it be you in a BDSM relationship within the aspects of BDSM lifestyle, you're going to have to choose the boundaries. You're going to have open communication. So many people make these mistakes. And here, I actually wrote this down to make sure I get it right. So here we go. Never force or try to persuade a person who has told you that they are not into something that they should be into it. Let them later continue the conversation at their choosing in the future. Do not try to manipulate a person or change a person's decision to meet your desires. In effect, this would be using them as an object to get what you want. If you have to manipulate someone to get into something, if you've been married for 20 years and you suddenly want to have an open relationship, and they're not into it, then that's a decision you're going to have to make. Do not force people into it. Listen, full disclosure, I've been in monogamous relationships, I've been in open relationships, and I've been in a poly relationship. The poly relationship did not work well because the other person within it decided that they could get what they wanted out of it, and that was a she. But I was not allowed to do anything. So basically, they wanted their cake and to eat it too. This obviously led to the end of the relationship, because not only was it clear that the person was more interested in their own needs, but it also came down to the pure fact that they weren't truly poly. They were looking for the door out. So I opened the door and let them leave. There's no perfect answer for anything, guys. There's no perfect relationship. What there is you being the most expressive you can be and trying to find what you feel works for you. Remember, you're going to evolve as a person. You're going to grow. You're going to change. Your opinions might change about what you want in a relationship. That's okay. Not enough people tell you that. It's okay to be curious. It's okay to go out there and try to reinvent what you want, but you have to be honest. I can't stress that enough. Whether it be polyamory, a BDSM relationship, or monogamy, honesty. And you can hear I'm harping on it because I think this is where we fail the most. Just because you're into something doesn't mean someone else has to be into something. But now I will give you a bit of a pitch. All right, so here's my pitch, and then you guys can take what you want from it, and I'll get the sun out of your eyes. Ooh, I'm like a shadow of this whole thing. So here, I'll actually switch around real quick. You guys have had the beautiful view enough. I'll turn around and I can be in the sun for a few minutes because I think you've just seen a shadowy figure. I can't really see because I got the shades on and all that. So a shadowy figure has been talking to you and now he's not. Here we go. So here's the honesty, guys, and I'm going to put it out there. Polyamory, I think, is one of the better relationships you can have. This is just personal opinion now. The reason I like polyamory is I think a lot of people feel trapped in their relationships and get bored. And I think people get lazy. And you see it. People get married, they stop trying. There's a loss of that energy. And I've known polyamorous people, and there's just something nice about getting to constantly meet new people. You don't get in ruts. Plus, life is about experience. I think and that's not to say I don't believe in love. Absolutely believe in love. But I can love more than one thing at once. If I have another kid, do you think I'm not going to love my kid because I love Jax so much? Or do you think I'll stop loving Jax? I love pizza, but I love cookies too. Am I cheating on pizza when I'm eating a cookie? I love different movies. I love different music. I love my family. My heart's big enough as a person to do that. Jealousy is a huge thing with polyamory. There's no way to not admit that. But there's jealousy in monogamy anyway. Where insecurity is insecurity. The difference is, I think, especially with polyamory, if you're actively trying and making the effort, and trust me, polyamory takes a lot of discussion. You're going to have to meet people. You're going to have to introduce people to people. There's a lot that goes into it. And there is jealousy. Jealousy doesn't go away. I don't care how open you are. There are moments of jealousy. The difference with polyamory is that you learn to talk about the jealousy. You're going to learn to have the conversations about the jealousy. And you're going to be open to hearing people. That's so important with these relationships all across the board. But polyamory, I think, is the most, for me, just speaking for me, and these are my opinions, I think polyamory gives everyone the opportunity to really explore themselves and get to meet new people. And I've tried different relationship types all the time. Now, of course, I do want to point out that there is asexuality, and there are other aspects of things I might not have covered. This was a basic video today. For me, polyamory is definitely something I think can work, but I haven't had it and I haven't had success with it. I have been part of it. At times it did work. And especially like when you're a single parent, you don't always have all the time in the world. Having an extra partner for your partner could kind of fill in the time that you're not around. Plus, your partner that you're with might not be available when you are because being a single parent, you have a very limited window. There's also the tribe mentality. The more people around, the better it is. Plus, if you can get your tribe to go out together, it adds more fun to it. You have a bigger, almost family and unit. Now, people will tell you that polyamory is destroying regular marriage. If regular marriage can be destroyed by an idea, then regular marriage, monogamy, might not be working. I mean, they said that gay marriage was going to kill regular relationships, and there still seem to be here in the predominant ones. I think we're so worried about what other people are doing, and some of that I think is jealousy. I think people like the idea of being able to be in an open relationship, but so few people want to put the work into it. So if you're gonna do it, you have to be open to how much work goes into it. If you guys have other questions or want me to do a follow-up video, please feel free to drop the information below. If you guys want me to be back inside so I'm not roasting, don't worry. Next week we'll be filming in the studio as normal. Just, it's summer. I figured I'd do something cool. We might do this location again. I thought it was beautiful. And I think relationships can be beautiful. If you put your heart into it and you put your honesty into it, you might get hurt, you might break a heart, but you're also going to have so much amazing times. But be honest with yourself. Don't get into relationships you can't do. The BDSM itself has so many subset relationships that we can go over if you want in a deeper video. But for now, this has been Freaky Friday. So go out there and get your freak on. And we're going to have to do a weird zoom in because I'm outside and I can't see where the damn mouse is. All right, kids, we're out of here. Go be freaky. I have to hit a second button. Oh, we can just play an outro. Here you go. Check out Barbara Unleashed.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Barbara Unleashed campaign for the first time ever on Indiegogo. Barbara Unleashed is about a young woman's journey through the New York City